Hello, everyone. This is Mike Bartz. Fight CPS with Mike, T.T.T. Their tactics, traps, and tricks. I actually just got the show, so this is my new show. Hope you enjoy it. I'm not an attorney by any means. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, if you would please click subscribe, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I mean, that's quite fine with me. Good morning, C Viper 23. Don't know who that is, but okay. But thank you for joining. But anyways, just to give you a little backstory on me. My daughter was taken from my wife and I first part of the year in March. We finally got her back in June. Just an amazing feeling to get her back. So I'm one of the lucky ones. My wife is one of the lucky ones. We survived it, and it didn't take us 2-3 years or even a year to get her back. So we got her back inside 6 months? Yeah, 6 months. Is that DJ? But anyways, but yeah, so this is a new show. And I just want to give you, so I just wanted to give you some tips and or some advice on their tactics, on their tricks, and some of the traps that they set for you in the process. Because I got caught in quite a few of them, to be honest with you. I was like a big old dummy and just walked straight into the stuff. And of course, my arrogance didn't help any. I mean, my arrogance blinded me to a lot of stuff. And, but so they set traps every time you turn around. They're setting a trap for you. And one of the main traps they set for you is the safety plan thing. They come into your house and they're going to act like they're going to, hey, Deidre. They come into your house and they act like they're going to be your best friend. They're there to help you. They're there to give you resources, to guide you, to protect you, and watch over you. It's a joke, folks. It is a joke. Don't fall for it. Because as soon as you sign this safety agreement, you've basically got a contract with CPS. Just don't fall for that stuff, folks. Just don't do it. The paperwork, and this is across the nation and into Canada, from what I understand. But yeah, it's just a trap, all the way around a trap. Don't fall for it. They will push you, and they will play on your sympathy and the nerves and your stress. Depends on what's going on in the family at the time. Yeah, they will play on it. Just don't fall for it. Do not sign the safety plan. First and foremost, if DSS is knocking on your door, do understand that you do not have to answer that door. You do not have to answer that door. You do not have to talk to them. You do not have to correct their allegations. You do not have to prove the allegations are wrong. Just don't open the door. Just make them go away. They will go away. And they'll show back up. I promise you. And they'll knock again. And they will keep knocking. And they'll keep showing back up. But just don't answer the door. And they will go away. That's the number one thing. As soon as you open that door, they've got you. Because now they're going to read you allegations. They're going to make you mad. They're going to upset. They're going to confuse you. They're going to irritate you. They're going to make you question your life. All right. So just don't open the door and don't address these folks. Just let them be. Just let them go away. And they will, if they know you're inside the house, they'll yell, "We're coming back with the cops." It don't matter. Cops, no cops. CPS, no CPS. If they're knocking with the cops, don't answer the door. Just be persistent. I know it's annoying. I know it's going to bug the bejeebies out of you, but just don't answer the door. I mean, that's because they have, if you don't answer the door and they can't read you the allegations, they can't accuse you of nothing. And they have to close the case. I think they have 45 days, if I'm not mistaken. They have 45 days to close the case or do something with the case. All right. So just don't answer the door. I mean, just leave it alone. There's no sense even getting mixed in with these people. These people are deceitful. They are manipulators. And I'm here to tell you, they will always lie. They'll make stuff up. They will put stuff in reports just to make you look even more evil. All right. So do not deal with these people. Do not deal with these people. Over 400,000, closer to 500,000 kids are stolen, literally stolen out of their homes in the United States. 400,000 children a year are pulled out of their homes here in the United States because people answer the door and they feel like they can out-talk them. They can prove the allegations are bogus. And I'm here to tell you, no one believes the allegations except for them. They just make stuff up and they will bury you in this. And the minute you cross them, oh my goodness, it's just going to get ugly from there. Another thing, folks, and this is just my opinion. There's no facts behind this whatsoever. It's just my own opinion. Stop posting pictures of your children on social media. Stop it. Because I swear they use that as a shopping list. I swear they do. Because everybody I've spoke to that has been involved with CPS or has had CPS come down their necks or backs or whatever you want to call it, have admitted to posting photos of their children. Do not post photos of your children. I know it's a way to brag, and I know it's a way because you're a proud mom and you're a proud dad. Just don't do it. I swear they use it as a shopping list. I swear they do. I'm not saying they have a shopping list, but I think there's another factor. That says something about 80% or around 80% of the children that are in the trafficking are being trafficked. Sorry. Have been associated with the CPS or the foster care system in one way or another. So keep your kids out of it. Do not post pictures of your children. Do not. Hey, Cynthia. But anyways, do not. Because they will steal your children. And they will lie on you. And the level of evidence that they need is way down here. It's not even up to a traffic court ticket. It's way down here. My co-host on Men in the Trenches, CPS Trenches, Darren, he has a saying that he uses all the time that we're the only species on Earth that let people come in or let things, individuals or other creatures come into our homes and take our children without a fight. And I mean without a bloody fight. And he likes to use chickadees as a description. Go to a chickadee nest and mess with the eggs and see what that little chickadee does. And we're talking a little small bird. I mean, this big. It'll dive bomb you until it's either bloody dead or you're gone. I mean, they defend their nest above and beyond. But we don't. We just, they show up with a badge and a piece of paper we open the door and we give them our children. This has to stop, folks. You have to spread the word, whether you're involved in CPS or if you know somebody that's not involved in CPS, spread the word. Do not open your doors. Do not sign a safety plan. It's not something required by law. There's no law that says you have to open your door and talk to anybody. And trust me, if they had a warrant, they're not knocking. They're coming in. So, I mean, if they have, and that's what I mean by the cops. If they have a warrant for your arrest, they're not knocking. They're coming in. All right. So if they're knocking, just basically in your head tell them to piss off, because there's nothing they can do about it. You don't have to be in there and be quiet. They can't prove it's you inside the house. And I mean, if they're looking through windows, they could probably prove it's you, but yeah, just don't answer the door. Avoid even making that initial contact. Teach your kids, especially your school age kids. You know, these CPS workers will go into a school and pull these children out by themselves without your permission, mom and dad, without your permission. And talk to these children. So if you got school age kids, instruct them. If they're old enough to understand the instructions, instruct them. Do not speak to these people. Just tell them, no, I have nothing. I can't answer that question. I don't know what you're talking about. Teach your kids just to avoid speaking to these evil child stealing criminals. Just don't let them, and you got to give everybody instructions. I had watched and studied, and so I knew about CPS and I knew about their tactics, but my wife, she didn't. Her family, they didn't. And they opened the door and they signed the safety plan, which initiated them taking our child. I mean, come on. It just don't, but so pass the word. These people out there are naive. I can't believe my voice just went up like I was going through puberty, but yeah, these people are naive. So spread the word, folks. I'm sorry if I seem a little bit crazy or a little bit passionate about this, but it's a passion of mine. Tess Young says mine were stolen technically because now no one can find an affidavit for the 300 warrant, and everything they're accusing me of is lies. I agree, Tess, and they're going to lie on you. I promise you they're going to lie on you. I've been staying off social media, open case. Smart decision. I mean, don't do what I'm doing and put your face out there, because you're going to jeopardize your family. Yeah, and you don't ever. I mean, and they're going to protect these reporters. There's mandatory reporters like doctors, teachers, court officers, police. Any first responders are going to be mandatory reporters. But otherwise, they do it all anonymous. It could be a pissed off ex-wife, ex-husband. It could be anybody. It could be next door neighbor. You cut a branch down and it fell in their yard. They're mad at you. It could be anything. I mean, and it could be 100% lie. I mean, absolute 100% lie. It's just, don't deal with these folks. If you can teach everybody and anybody, just teach them. Do not talk to these people. Do not open the door. And for the life of, for everything you love and hold dear, if you do open the door and they do get in your house, do not sign the safety plan. There's no requirement for a safety plan to be initiated. There's no, It's all their paperwork. It's not a law. It's none of that stuff. So just pass the word, because you never know when these people that you love and care about are going to end up dealing with these people. We dealt with them when my daughter was what, 14 months old, 15 months, 14 months old. But I know there's people that are dealing with DSS with kids are heading towards 17 years old. So I mean, they're at almost 500,000 kids being taken a year out of their homes. Chances are somebody who hasn't dealt with them yet is going to have to deal with these folks. So just pass the word. Teach the kids that they do not have to talk to them. We are all human. I am so sorry to hear that. 3 years old. That's just heartbreaking. I mean, to be honest with you, I said this on my other show, the men in the trenches, CPS trenches. I feel guilty because my wife and I got our child back, and y'all are still suffering. That breaks my heart. I don't know what to do for you. Mr. Davis, he's got 30 years in the business of getting children back from CPS. The man has a plethora of information, tactics, strategies. Watch his videos, contact him. If you're at a different state, like I'm in North Carolina, Mr. Davis is in California. So if you contact him, he may have somebody to refer you to. I know, brother. You and I have talked about that. Years aged out of the system. You were in a fight for what, 15, 20 years, Chris? Something like that. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, and the gentleman you see, Chris, on there, he's actually from across the street from my house. So he's supporting his neighbor. Yeah, he's had to deal with CPS more than on one occasion. But yeah, so they will come. They'll come try to take your kids. Like I said, even approaching 17 years old, which is ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. And these young kids, like I can't remember her name now. And let me look down here. We're all human. Her child's 3 years old. That's the perfect adoption age, and they will try to adopt your kids out. I remember the second foster home that my daughter went to. These people took my daughter on vacation out of state. That's another trick that I'm going to have to tell you about. It's where they get permission to take your children out of state without your permission. All they got to do is get permission from CPS or from the courts, and they can take your children. Like I said, I'm in North Carolina. They took our child to Michigan and Kentucky. So, I mean, it's just, and they will browbeat you. Folks, these people are just extremely evil. But anyways, I basically want to just come out and introduce myself, and I wanted to introduce you to the show. The show is going to be a little bit different than the other CPS shows. I'm actually 8 years, Chris. Yeah, I knew it was quite a few years. But yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the show. The show's going to be like I was just doing, giving you some idea of their tactics and how to stay out of their attacks and how to avoid their tricks and their tactics. If you have any tips or tricks that I have not mentioned, or if you know some that happened to you personally, I would love to hear from you. You can email me, and I don't know if Grace can post this in all the chats because we're on like 10 or 15 different platforms. But anyways, it's NC Nancy Charlie, and it's Bravo Alpha Ralph Tango Zulu at outlook.com. Send me an email. It's NC Bartz, Bartz, my last name that you see on the screen there. North Carolina, Bartz. That's what it stands for. NC Bartz at outlook.com. Send me an email. Thank you, Grace. That just makes it so much easier. There's my email address. Send me an email. Give me suggestions or ideas on some of their tactics, traps, and tricks that you experienced while dealing with these fools. Of course, I'll research them, and I will probably reach back out to you and have you explain in more detail. You don't have to send me a 500-page email to get my attention. I will look at all of them. But yeah, so the name of the show pretty much tells you what I'm going to be doing. It's Triple T, T.T.T. I'm going to talk about their tactics, their traps, and their tricks. And I'm also going to take this show on the road. I am going to actually go out into the community around me. I'm sorry, I can't afford to come to the communities around you, but I'm going to go to the communities around me. And I'm just going to be Joe and talk to Joe on the street and ask them simple questions about what they know about CPS. And ask them if they've experienced CPS. You know, if they have any idea on how these people work. It's just my contribution to try and get the word out on how to beat these people back, or at least slow them down. I mean, I don't know if we're going to beat them, but at least we got to slow them down. 500,000 children a year in the United States. People, that's crazy. I've got friends in South Carolina that are going up against what they call TPR right now. And it's on the 11th of October. I'm scared to death for these folks. Because I mean, I've talked to both of them, and they're both good people. They mean no harm. They have no ill will. They're not up to anything nefarious. They're good people. But they still have to deal with, you know, having their children taken away from them. And I've seen pictures of their children. Gorgeous, gorgeous boys. I mean, these boys are pretty. If these boys are so pretty that you could slap lipstick on them and they'd be gorgeous little girls. I mean, that's how gorgeous these boys are. And and they posted them pictures of them on social media. And I swear I mean, I have no proof of it, but I swear they turn it into a shopping list. And that's for whatever things that they do. I don't know if they have quotas, and I will research that. I don't know if they have quotas and how many children. I do know that every time they put a child into the system, the money starts rolling in from the federal government. And that money comes in hard and fast. And it comes in for a specific amount of time. You will see where you'll never see people that, you know, have their kids taken and get them back within a week. You'll never see that, because that's not enough money for them. They will at least hold them at least minimum 6 months. So, I mean, and the court system that they put you in, people, come on. You could go out on the street and you could shoot somebody in the thigh. I mean, literally attempt to gun them down, and you'll get a jury. You would get a jury of your peers. Not in this court. It's a judge sitting up there hearing 30, 40 cases a day. And if you think that man wants to talk to you about it, you're crazy. And the court-appointed attorneys that they give you, these are people that, in my opinion only, these court-appointed attorneys, there are some good ones. There's always some good ones, but a lot of them are just putting you on a treadmill. I mean, they play along. They get along to play along. I mean, or they play along to get along. And the monies that these court-appointed attorneys are paid with are the same funds that come from the federal government. So, I mean, think about it. Would you open your mouth and would you do anything to oppose it and not be able to feed your family or not be able to, build that career you're trying to build? No, you're going to go along to get along. But there are some good ones out there. I mean, there are some good ones. But you also got to point. I mean, you also got to realize that I'll give you a little more information on me because it fits into the information I want to give you. When this all started, I had a beautiful, brand new young daughter. I mean, brand new. She turned 13 months, 14 months old when all this started. I had a gorgeous, beautiful wife. My wife works for the federal government. She works as a postal carrier. And now I'm sitting here by myself, and no offense, but talking to y'all instead of talking to my wife, instead of loving and enjoying my daughter's growing and watching her learn and watching her wings spread. So, I mean, no offense, but you're going to lose everything. I mean, these people take everything. And I have video of a negotiation with the prosecuting attorney and DSS where they sit there and they stay. You know, we don't have a problem with you, Mr. Birch, and your child. We don't have a problem at all with that. What we have a problem is with you and your wife. You and your wife cannot be together. And they pretty much lay it right out that we'll let you get your child back, but you cannot be with your wife. And they threatened us. And they said, we will drive by and check. They never drove by my house. Doesn't mean they didn't drive by my wife's house or where my wife is staying. But yeah, so, I mean, these people are serious about taking everything from you. And they will pitch you. And this is another one of their little tricks. They will pitch you against the person that you thought you would never fight against. They'll put you up against the wall and hand a gun for an execution of you by your spouse or by the one that cares about you the most. And they will whisper in their ears, just a piece of what you said. They won't tell them the whole story. They won't tell them the whole story. They will only give them a piece, and it will make you look like a schmuck. And personally, I mean, they drive it home and they repeat it over and over and over and over and over until that person believes what they're saying. They manipulative. They're psychotic. They're evil. They are emotionless robots. I mean, I had a supervisor on my case. I would love to say her name, but it'd get me kicked off the air, and I don't want to do that. So, because I have a lot to tell you guys, and I have a lot to experience with y'all. But I had a supervisor on my case, and this woman, I mean, I've got photos of this woman just standing there with her arms crossed, no expression on her face, could care less. Um, Now, if you learn anything about CPS, you'll learn that CPS, the supervisors are gods in CPS. And this supervisor, they have to sign off on everything. Um, they have to give permission for everything. And this supervisor, and I have the letter substantiating what I'm fixing to say, put my daughter in a home, in a foster home, where it was substantiated that she was neglected by the foster family. And this supervisor could care less. When it was reported, this supervisor personally came in because I was on supervised visitation. And I think it was my first or second supervised visitation. This supervisor came in my room with me and my daughter while I was visiting and proceeded to say, "Excuse me," and took my daughter and laid her down on the floor, took her clothes off her, took her diaper off her, right in front of her father. I don't know if you understand how that feels as a father, but oh my Lord, talk about disrespectful, talk about cruel, because I have to sit there and watch this woman take pictures of my child butt naked, stripped down in front of her father, and I'm supposed to just eat it, and I'm supposed to just swallow it. I had no retaliation whatsoever. I had zero retaliation. I mean, all I could do is snipe at the woman, and that's what I did. And that, of course, pissed her off. And that, of course, made my life miserable. And then my wife and I decided that we were going to divide and conquer. Be careful, this divide and conquer, because it seems like an obvious choice, but it is a dangerous choice, because the divide and conquer that my wife and I decided to go on cost us our marriage, didn't get our daughter back any faster. You know, where she was going to be, and she hates when I say this, even to this day, she was going to be CPS or DSS here in North Carolina, where it's DSS. She was going to be their wet dream and just do everything they wanted. If they said jump, she would guesstimate the best she could to how high. And I was the jerk. I was the ass. I mean, I was the southbound end of a northbound donkey. I mean, I was the jerk. And I did that very well. And the divide and conquer backfired on us, because now I am without a wife. She's without a husband. And we're good with that. I mean, she's good with that. I'm good with that, because it meant our daughter. I mean, we did that because our daughter got out of foster care and got out of CPS or DSS. So, I mean, my marriage was, I hate to say it, what's the word I'm looking for? The collateral damage. And both of us are good with it, because we got our daughter back. And Christina Lodge, the core values have been thrown out the window. They will downgrade you socially, racially profile you, blatantly lie on you, anything they can do. It's legal child trafficking. Christina, I absolutely agree with you, except for everything on the end. It's not legal child trafficking. It's illegal. It's illegal. I believe it's illegal. I mean, anytime you talk about child trafficking, it's illegal. I don't care who's doing it. I don't care if it's the actors out in California and Hollywood. I don't care if it's the government. I don't care if it's an individuals that you know down the street. Child trafficking is illegal, and that's why I'm here fighting. That's why I'm here talking and trying to get people to spread the word about this craziness. I'm sorry, that was my phone. I did not mean for it to go off. But anyways, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm screwing up here big time. I'm trying to get everything turned off and turned down so it doesn't ring. But anyways, sorry about that, folks. I forgot where I was at. But yeah, these people are a trip. I mean, but human trafficking is illegal. I don't care who's doing it. But otherwise, Christina, you're absolutely correct. These people are barbaric. They're evil. There's no need for that. I mean, they just don't need to do this kind of stuff. But anyways, I just won't. And I'm just talking. And if you can't tell, I've got a lot that goes through my head all at once, and I'm just trying to convey it to y'all. But the one point I wanted to do today was just basically let you folks know that this show is here. I'm going to be on here. Grace, help me here. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 Eastern time. I'm here in North Carolina, so I work off Eastern time. I've got people that I would love to get on the show with me, people who will help you folks. And please remember Vincent Davis. Go look it up, How to Fight CPS and Win. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. He's everywhere. And just check out some of his videos. The man's got videos from I stacked this deep. I mean, just from hell and back. I mean, he's got tons of them. They're all informational. I mean, watch them. And if you listen to them and you can go on a show, you can talk to them. Yeah, thank you, Grace. I'm on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Oh, that's right, because Grace likes California. But California is a beast. I mean, if you're in California, you have my sympathies. But believe it or not, my co-host on the other show, Darren Guy, he's up in Maine, and he is a numbers guy. He loves statistics, and he informed me that Maine is like the number one state for having children taken away, and that's Maine. I don't know what it is. They get cabin fever up there or what, but they just start taking kids up there. I understand, Christina. You say it is legal because they get away with it. You're right. I mean, I was just, I don't know. I guess I was just, I wasn't trying to fight you on it. I was just, and I didn't want to argue with you on it, but it is. I mean, I can see where you say it's legal because they do get away with it. You're absolutely correct, and they do it. And yet, and they will do it to all levels of income levels, all colors, all races, all income levels. I mean, they're not picky. The only thing is if you have the resources, and this is what Christina was just talking about. If you have the resources to hire your own attorneys and to hire your own experts, then they don't want you doing that. They want you to lose your job, or they want you to lose your income, because I know, even as flexible as the U.S. Postal Service is, and they let my wife out for court. I think we had court once a week for like 3-4 months. And then on top of that, visitation. And on top of that, meetings with your attorney. On top of that, classes that you are being required to go to. I mean, she missed a lot of work. And so she's blessed that she didn't lose her job. So they will do everything they can to try and take you. They will do everything they can to try and take your life away from you. And what I mean by life, they take your children, they'll take your marriage if you're married, or they'll take your relationship, however you want to put it, and they will take your job, they'll take your income away from you. And then they'll turn around and make it all part of this case plan, which is hilarious. And then in the case plan, they'll turn around, flip it back onto you and say, you got to provide a stable income. You have to have a stable job, or you have to have a stable relationship. You got to go to parenting classes, because you sure as hell don't know how to be a parent. And now, don't get me wrong, folks, and I want to clarify. I want to clarify that there are some cases out there of neglect, child abuse, that they need to intervene on. But honestly, in the hundreds of people that I spoke to, Melissa, for instance, that you see on the screen right now, I mean, the hundreds of people that I've spoke to since I've been doing this job. You're right, Young. Don't forget, almost lose your mind. You're going to lose your mind. But the hundreds of people that I spoke to, these people don't deserve this. They don't deserve this. They just, I mean, it's being sentenced. It's being convicted without a trial. You're being sentenced, and the sentence is, we're going to take your child away from you. And that's the sentence. And it's done by one judge and one prosecutor. There's no jury of 12 people sitting there saying, hey, we're going to destroy your life. It's one person. In most cases, in most states, it's one person. There are some states that do allow a jury to be had, but not here in North Carolina. I could go out and run my truck through a Dairy Queen, and I would have a jury by the time I got out of my truck. Not in family court. Not even close. And their threshold for evidence is way down here. The initial, and I mean, the threshold of evidence goes up, but initially, when they take your child away from you, they go to a judge and they file what they call an ex parte order, and they'll go to the judge without you being there. 99% of the time, you're not going to be there. And they'll tell the judge, look, we need to get this child into our custody because A, B, C, and D. All lies. Nothing proven. Just allegations. Nothing proven. They don't have to prove squat. And the judge just signs off on it because he believes, or she believes, that these people are doing the right thing. They do. They believe that these folks, the judges believe that these people are doing the right thing. And what is it Mr. Davis says? Absolute power, absolute corrupts. I think that's what he says. You give these people absolute power, and they're absolutely corrupted. They really are. And And Melissa, you're absolutely correct. If we stand on as one, we can actually start to win. We can actually change the tide. I don't know if we're ever going to knock them out of the ballpark. I don't know if we're ever going to knock them out, but I know we can slow them down. And you got to spread the word to people. It doesn't matter if they're involved with CPS or not. I promise you, they're going to be involved at one point or another in one form or fashion. Whether they're asked to take a child, a relative's child that they have taken, excuse me, and or they've taken their child, or they've been somebody's accused them of something. They're going to have to deal with CPS at one level or another, and they'll embarrass the snot out of you, because they get on the internet and they send these letters out saying, oh, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. family member, in my case, Mike, my wife's name is Kendra. Mike and Kendra's daughter has been removed from their house. Would you consider taking their child? And we're talking my family members that I haven't spoke to in 20, 30 years? And people that aren't even family members. I mean, just people like this one woman dated my wife's brother. I mean, she dated him. And I don't know how they got her name, but they sent her a letter saying, hey, Mike and Kendra's daughter has been removed from the home. And, for a child, and what they call it? They called it neglect and dependency. That's what it was. That's what I was looking for under neglect and dependency situation. And oh my God, you want to be judged? Have somebody receive that letter. It could be the most loyal family members you ever run into, but they received that letter, you're a POS. I promise you. And then the guys on the street and the people on the street, they will roll their nose up. Like, oh, look at this. He's a reject or she's a reject because their child got taken by CPS. You're going to get judged. You're going to get judged. And it's part of their game plan. It's part of one of their tactics. It's part of one of their tricks. Because as long as they keep you off balance, as long as they keep you fighting the wrong fight, if you're fighting the wrong fight, then you're not fighting the right one. And they don't want you fighting the right fight. And that's where me and my wife went wrong. Or that's where me and my family went wrong. I can't say my wife. I mean, she will correct me quickly if I said my wife or soon to be ex-wife. Yeah, I mean, they keep you off balance. They keep you on your heels. I'm 6'7", 300 pounds. I'm an ornery son of a biscuit eater. I am. I'm a jerk. I'm an equal opportunity jerk. I'm a jerk to everybody equally. So, I mean, it's just, and I thought I had thick skin. Oh my goodness. These people reduced me to tears. They made me give up. I'm 60 years old. Served in the United States military. Was actually taught to handle pressure pretty well. I was an air traffic controller. And it's a high pressure position. It's a high pressure job. So, I mean, I thought I could handle pressure. And folks, they took so much from me that I stuck, and I'm not going to lie to you, I stuck a gun in my mouth. I mean, I was done. I was broke. They took everything from me. I didn't have anything more to give. They don't want you to be a father. They don't want you to be a family. They don't want you to have any of that. And they broke me. I ain't gonna lie. They broke me. If it wasn't for Mr. Davis and this crew right here and seeing potential in me and giving me another direction, you know, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, because they saw something in me that I didn't see in me anymore. And they pretty much said, well, you've got another calling. I mean, you're here for a reason. And the reason is because you need to do these shows. I mean, so they saved my life with this show. But anyways, last 10 minutes of the show. I'm going to see if I can get caught up on some comments here. Let me see if I can get caught up on some comments here. Yes, Melissa, you're absolutely correct. They do use your history against you. But you do not, but you are absolutely correct. You are not allowed to use your own history in your defense. That's like, I have another daughter. She's 21 now, 22 now, and she lives up in Michigan. And I raised her from 2 months old to she was 10 years old. And this is the kind of father I was. I went to the Salvation Army or Goodwill, or whatever you want to call it. And I bought oversized clothing for my daughter so she could feel like she was playing dress up and clopping around in oversized shoes. I went and paid a beautician to teach me how to do braids, because I didn't know how to braid hair. I mean, I'm not joking. You know, I sent her mother disappeared, just dropped out of the picture, which never understood. But I sent birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, birthday cards, Christmas cards, Easter cards, all signed with my wife's name. You know, I put mom and sent them to my daughter. Just so she, you know, that's the kind of father I was, just so she wouldn't feel separated from her mother. I sent her mother money to fly from Michigan down to North and South Carolina, gave her my house, let her stay in my house. I moved out. I went to the hotel for a week so her and my daughter could spend quality time together. So, I mean, that's the kind of father I was. So they won't let you use your history. They don't care about your history. You're a jerk. You're subhuman. You don't even have a right to talk on your own behalf. I mean, I went through 2 court-appointed attorneys. 2 of them. One just didn't even show up. I mean, he was more interested in going to or trying to make something out of the criminal side of his law firm, and he just didn't show up. And then the second one was a real piece of work. I call him Napoleon. He's, like I said, I'm 6'7". He was probably 5 foot, 5'1", 5'2", dressed like Barney Miller. I mean, this like a bum. Even wore slippers in the courtroom. I mean, house shoes, slippers in the courtroom. And he wears these kid-size suits. And this SOB going to tell me to shut up and sit down. Of course, that didn't go too well. And he withdrew. And I got stuck being my own attorney, which I never recommend you doing, because you have a need to be right. And Mr. Davis always says that why you keep fighting the fight that happened when it first started? You're not there anymore. drop that. You got to fight what's in front of you. And that's what I mean by them keeping you off balance and on your heels. They just get you so confused. They got you fighting the wrong fight, folks. So anyways, basically, last 5 minutes of the show, I want to say again, spread the word. Tell people, even if they're not involved with CPS, just in case they might be involved with CPS or the CPS may involve them, inform them that they do not have to talk to them. They do not have to open the door. And for all that you love and hold dear, do not sign a safety plan. Spread the word. Teach your school-age children not to talk to these fools. They're well within their personal rights saying, hey, I don't want to talk to you without my mom and dad, or they can sit there and say no comment, or I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. But teach your kids to not talk to these people, because it does absolutely zero good to do that. All right. My plans are to take this show on the road. Like I said, I'm going to go into communities around my area and going to approach people on the street and basically just ask them a series of questions to see how familiar they are with this evil organization. Send me emails if you have any ideas on tactics, traps, or tricks. Also, any of you people know who a First Amendment auditor is? I need them to reach out to me also, because I got a feeling once I go out on the street, I'm going to have to deal with the cops. And my cockiness and my arrogance is going to get me locked up. So I need one of these First Amendment auditors with some experience to teach me and tell me how to handle these fools and how to deal with these folks, so I don't end up in jail, because I'm allergic to jail. All right. So if any of you know one of these First Amendment auditors, tell them to reach out to me, please. My email is there in chat or on the YouTube chat. ncbarts@outlook.com. Give me a call. Grace, I'm done talking if you want to start the music. And thank everybody for showing up. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, give us some love. All right. Talk to y'all later. Have a